By sacking Mwangi Kiunjuri and issuing a litany of policy directives to cushion farmers, analysts now say President Uhuru Kenyatta sought to affirm he was in charge and not a lame duck as he serves his last 2 years in office. The elaborate statement was also meant to recover the ground that he had reportedly lost in the populous Mount Kenya region. And Francis Gachuri reports that the moves could be a precursor to President Kenyatta's much publicized tour of central Kenya.
Good morning.
The president set his 2020 priorities amid the rising political tensions catalyzed by the scramble for his successor in 2022. The all too obvious fallout with his deputy, deepening cracks in the Jubilee household. The seemingly growing rebellion in his Mount Kenya region backyard was stoked by the dwindling fortunes in the agriculture sector, that is the region's economic lifeline. A raft of policy directives he issued on tea, coffee, milk, rice and potatoes meant to calm the mountain ahead of his BBI popularization tours.
Political power, pursued for its own sake, will not make Kenya a great nation. We must therefore use politics to shift the economy and indeed to address the plight of the most vulnerable members of our society. We need to use politics to better the livelihood of our fellow Kenyans.
By sacking Mwangi Kiunjuri and handing the ministerial flag to Mutahi Kagwe, Kenyatta sought to demonstrate he was still in charge and not a lame duck as perceived by some. By rewarding Peter Munya with the plum agriculture docket, reshuffling the cabinet and affirming the role played by a cabinet committee chaired by Dr. Fred Matiang'i that is charged with implementation of government projects, Kenyatta seemed to crack the whip on a cabinet that has been split over the 2022 dynamics.
And it's for the reason that the economy is what we want to be a much more important focus than politics. And this is because our practice throughout our history as a country has been one of pursuing the political kingdom as opposed to the economic kingdom. But it is my strong belief that that focus has been wrong.
There is also talk of extending his term beyond 2022 with some of his allies, among them former Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe, intimating at the possibility of an executive prime minister slot being crafted for him in the ongoing BBI process.
Nyinyi ndio mnaongea, mimi nilisema yangu na nikamaliza. Endelee kuongea
With the BBI process opening a new battlefront and a likely referendum before the year ends, Kenyatta sought to assuage the polarized political environment.
Let us use this opportunity to talk with each other, not at each other. Let us not allow competitive politics, which is always what ruins our country, right, to get in the way of dealing with real issues that Kenyans are concerned about. This BBI is not about creating a position for this person. I don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about how do we have better governance? How do we deal with corruption in our country? How do we deal with youth unemployment? How do we deal with creating a feeling of equity and fairness so that after every election, we don't have to fight each other.
Yeah.
We can all be winners after an election. Why don't we look at those things that are positive for our country instead of always focusing ourselves on the competitive aspect? If I go this way, will I win, will I lose? Kenyans are not interested in that.
Thank you very much.
By sacking Mwangi Kiunjuri and making a raft of changes in the cabinet, President Uhuru Kenyatta sought to confirm that he was still in charge amid the rising political temperatures revolving his succession in 2022. More fundamentally are the instructions he has issued to cushion the local farmer from uncompetitive practices, particularly spearheaded by what he called cartels. Francis Gachuri, Citizen TV, State House, Mombasa.